Good afternoon to all fellow ASEAN field cultivators. Of course, I would not like to recognize all because of the lack of time, but may I just introduce that my share of some simple ideas as a part of our of this today's activity is on ASEAN, which is the core subject of this conference, and ASEANOLOgy, which I think is a product of what we are doing, and ASEAN integration. So those are the very simple variables that I would like to discuss, maybe interchangeably here. And so I beg for your indulgence. The establishment of the ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in 1967, engendered major conglomeration at the nation-state and non-state categories under the label ASEAN, with the ASEAN organization itself as the organic entity, being the foundation source. Since then, various categories and classifications tagged as ASEAN plus Alpha. So let's say we have the ASEAN economy, as just discussed by the excellent presentation of our previous two speakers, ASEAN politics, ASEAN culture, and ASEAN arts, which is the main topic in the key note speech this morning by our most distinguished Chancellor. ASEAN technology, I think we have also the ASEAN Games, etc. This came into being along the ASEAN evolutionary journey in the passage of time. So in addition, there is the more nebulous and less formal labeling that loosely identifies things using the term or the brand ASEAN as a nomenclature. So here we have witnessed the emergence of the ASEAN catalog that now invades almost every sphere of undertakings among the member countries in Southeast Asia and in the global community. In the sphere of knowledge pursuit, specifically in area studies, I think we have here identified Asian studies. This is a symposium on ASEAN studies. The preponderance of the ASEAN descriptive tag on ASEAN-related things, circumstances, and state of affairs has been occurring. The evolution of knowledge and education on things ASEAN could be termed ASEANOLOgy in the academic parlance. You know, the logy, like biology, zoology, all the logies. But we will put ASEAN as the main source of this logy. This is a kind of a knowledge prism that defines how ASEAN, our ASEAN peoples, in their individual and collective location, situation, and deportment, are seeing things, how they view, how they perceive, and deal with themselves and with the region around the world, and almost in everything. Strictly speaking, the term ASEANOLOgy in form and essence encompasses technically any and all ASEAN-associated subjects insofar as timeline and terminology are concerned. The creation of ASEAN has continued and started this cumulative construction of what we call, what I may term as the ASEAN Prism. But you know, this is also talking, so no, Prism involves only the sight, but it could involve also hearing, listening, speaking. So that is what we can term as ASEAN Prism. In essence and substance, the learning areas of Southeast Asian studies and of ASEAN studies are a continuum and integrated systems of undertaking. One major manner of distinguishing the two areas of studies, ASEAN studies and Southeast Asian studies, is in the time frame. That is the the pre-1967, anything that we do on study on ASEAN are called Southeast Asian studies. And maybe after 1967, after the so-called Bangkok Declaration creating the ASEAN, then we call them ASEAN studies, especially the referrals. The ASEANOLOGY as an evolving field. Of course, we see here in the title of this conference, which is ASEAN field, but we can also say ASEANOLOGY as a field, parallel to ASEAN, can be either natural or deliberate. When we say natural, all those emerging knowledge and knowledge system naturally happening. And the deliberate one refers to the systematic, intentional, and guided pursuit of knowledge and information on ASEAN in all its attributes, including organically and in its member nations, individually and collectively, as subjects and topics of study and research exploration. Distinction can be extended to make a differentiation between the focus of study, regional institution as compared to the non-organizational focus. So, you know, when ASEAN became an organic entity, it could be studied as an organization. But the ASEAN can also be viewed as a region. One deals with the affairs of Southeast Asia as a nebulous region during pre-colonial times, or even before that, and delineated in terms of nation-state characteristics and formal structures. That is Southeast Asia as a nebulous area or region, while the ASEAN studies can generally be guided by the coverage of the first 10 nation study cubicles, or, you know, compartmentalization. We have Indonesian studies, Philippine studies, Thai studies. Those are all components of ASEAN studies, covering the ASEAN countries as a single organization study, or it could be also as a single study subject, as an organization. The field of ASEANOLOGY embraces and incorporates objectives, scope, and operational categorization of studies and of cumulative knowledge systems that develop according to the domains and interests of individual scholars and institutions of learning in Southeast Asia, and those of other places in the world. ASEANOLOGY may focus on the tangible and intangible dimensions of ASEAN. So I think this morning, session 1 deals with our history, our culture, and our geography. Those are tangible aspects of ASEAN studies. But the intangible ones may be like integration, development, things like that are the intangible aspects of ASEANOLOGY. ASEANOLOGY can inculcate to the ASEAN peoples and societies a greater sense of consciousness and identification. So here, I think we were discussing also in one of the topics, how do we achieve identity building? And I think, for me, ASEANOLOGY could be a potent tool or instrument through which, if disseminated to all levels of our ASEAN societies, can enhance our ASEAN consciousness and identity. To state the obvious, this is essential in achieving the organization's, meaning ASEAN's, quest for unity, cooperation, and integration. ASEANOLOGY as a developing field augurs well for self-determination and in charting the destiny of the individual member nations of the organization and promoting ASEAN's role as a responsible regional player in the global community. Cultivating ASEANOLOGY via the meta-nation state channels. Well, our illustrious chairperson said that I'm always talking about the meta-nation state, but well, this is just a very, very simplified way of looking at how we try to promote anything, whether it's economic exchange, political interface, socio-cultural interaction, I use this very simple paradigm, and I'd like to introduce to you. Meta-nation state, meta here, of course, those who are in the sciences, not the exact sciences, metaphysics, you study things, physics, but also beyond physics. So meta means beyond the nation. So here I constructed a very simple diagram trying to illustrate how we can promote the study of ASEAN through these levels of observations. The red, can you see? Is it clear? The red color, the red here indicates nation-state to nation-state interaction. So through here, through the interaction of nations, the 10 ASEAN member nations, we can promote ASEANOLOGY through policies of governments and the state. ASEAN studies can be promoted. And through B is through the level B, which is the yellow one, ASEANOLOGY could also be promoted by means of the sub-nation state status. And that could include also non-state players like universities, institutions, and the like. Now, we have also letter C, which is the supranation state level of ASEAN promotion. I refer here to organizations that are beyond one nation, like I think UNESCO, promoting cultural arts and things, but through which ASEANOLOGY can be promoted. So that is in essence how meta-nation state relations paradigm can be relevant to ASEANOLOGY. These are the metrics of interactions, like nation to nation, nation to intranation, and then nation to supranation, basically the three. The rest you can have. One comment this morning is that he comes from the island of Marinduque. That could mean also that an island like Marinduque can interact with the ASEAN group or with the ASEAN entities, and that is through the intranation state interaction of studying things, whether it's natural science or social science and all branches of knowledge. So we have here the nation state as a channel of ASEANOLOGY. We have the intranation state strata as ASEANOLOGY channel, and we have the supranation state as channel of ASEANOLOGY. The relevance of ASEANOLOGY to ASEAN integration. I think this is a very, very big subtopic, and I don't pretend to say that I can give you clear answers here, but I just would like to, as I introduce ASEANOLOGY as a system of knowledge, our ASEAN now at this present time is, as already discussed by our eminent economists here, economic scholars, is now in the quest for economic integration. But ASEANOLOGY can play a major potent role, not only in economic integration, but all comprehensive integration, economic, political, socio-cultural. I'm again stating the general. So I would say that ASEANOLOGY, or the systematic knowledge of ASEAN or about ASEAN, is the alpha, meaning the beginning, and the omega of ASEAN comprehensive integration. Can we ask this simple question? How can we integrate? Maybe our leaders can talk about integration, but how about the farmers in Vietnam and the farmers in Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia? Can they integrate? This is a lack of knowledge of basic ASEANOLOGY would mean that integration might not be possible. So this holds true in economic, political, and socio-cultural integration. Now, ASEAN, ASEANOLOGY, or the learning about ASEAN, or the knowledge about ASEAN, could be viewed in a continuum, on a dichotomy continuum. In terms of time frame, the pre-ASEAN or Southeast Asia period and the post-ASEAN knowledge system are continuum. We do not say that what has been studied, and especially Southeast Asian scholarly works and studies in the colonial era and in the pre-ASEAN West are mostly generated in Western institutions and universities. And they are part, of course, of the ASEAN ASEANOLOGY because they are the pre-ASEAN ASEANOLOGY component. But now that we have established our own ASEAN, in 1967, it follows that we have this conscious, deliberate construction of ASEAN knowledge that we are undertaking, and in fact this conference is part of it. So this is a continuum, and we are continuing. Another characterization of ASEANOLOGY is that it could be a deliberate, meaning through policies, through intentional institutional aspirations, we can develop ASEANOLOGY. But there is also passive knowledge pursuit on ASEAN, that it is uninfluenced, maybe it is neutral. And thirdly, the characteristics of ASEANOLOGY is it could be either normative and neutral. When we say normative, that it is like many of you have already stated that there is an aspiration of its member nations or of the ASEAN itself, the aspiration and the study of all those things, because the inculcation of knowledge, ASEAN knowledge is a normative undertaking. But neutral ones, and especially in the sciences, maybe is the one that is categorized as neutral ASEAN knowledge pursuit. Now comes integration. So how is ASEANOLOGY relevant to integration? In my general view again, ASEANOLOGY ignites ASEAN consciousness. That as we try to promote the study of ASEAN in all levels, in all dimensions, multidisciplinary, multidimensional, among us in the state level, in the sub-state level, and in the supra-state level, and even in our individual capacities, we create and we ignite, maybe later on cultivate ASEAN consciousness among ourselves, among our institutions. Another aspect is that ASEANOLOGY creates, after being conscious, it creates cumulative ASEAN knowledge. Of course, the deeper, the broader the knowledge, the better. And ASEANOLOGY communicates ASEAN closeness and maybe intimacy among ASEAN entities. And that is very, very important in integration. So, fellow ASEAN knowledge cultivators, I hope that by doing this together as we refine, polish, and improve our way of studying our ASEAN in all its aspects, we will be contributing to the ASEAN comprehensive multi-level integration that we just started this year. The economic integration of ASEAN will be followed by the socio-political security integration of our ASEAN. Thank you very much.